tatta dhim tatakita dhim tadim tattam. Hello there, welcome to my channel. This is Padma, and on this channel I share with you the dance and philosophy from ancient goddess tradition from my culture, which is India. And today I want to share with you the practice of Shakthi, which I think is a really important practice for the times we live in. And this practice came to me to share from a discussion that we had in one of my group classes. In my classes, I do have women from many different parts of the world. And as we were sharing reflections on how we are experiencing these times, what was amazing is that no matter where we lived, many of us had stories about the turbulence of the times and the churning of the times. Churning is a word that I have been using a lot in my recent videos, and indeed it is the energy of these times. In Indian astrology, the deity of these times is Shiva, and Shiva's dance is the dance of the churning and the dance in the churning. So it's no wonder that we are feeling this big energy of churning in the macrocosm. As part of this discussion, one of the women asked a really important question, which was, what do you do when you feel apathetic? And apathy comes when we feel powerless, when we feel like there are big things happening in the macrocosm that are going to affect us in our intimate lives, but we are unable to do anything about it. And then we feel this sense of disengagement, the sense of apathy, the sense of powerlessness. It's as if our bodies become heavy and we become really paralyzed without any movement. The invitation of the dance of Shiva is, how do we keep moving? How do we keep flowing during times of churn? And what infuses that Shiva dance is Shakthi, which is that grounded, martial presence and ferocity. So when we think of Shakti today, the word is bandied about quite a lot, particularly in Western appropriations of the Indian tradition. But the word has lost some of that grounded and ferocious embodied roots from which it came. So Shakti was not just any strength, but it is the strength that comes from our connection to earth, connection to the ground. It is a martial strength, so it's connected to weaponry, and it is about ferocity. And so this is the strength that we need to maintain presence. Because as we were reflecting in this class, why are we here in these times? Here we are living out our lives in the midst of this churning. And how do we keep that flow, keep that presence, keep that vitality? Because it is only in remaining present, just like the dance of Shiva in the churn, that we actually come to what this time holds for each one of us intimately. This is not about finding a one-size-fits-all answer. It's not about somebody giving a solution or a story. It isn't even about saying that something positive is going to come out of all this. It's not as simple as that. It's about just being open to the fact that we're here, we're living in these times, and it is only by that grounded presence and flow that something of the purpose of us being here, whatever that may be, emerges. And it is going to be different for each one of us. It is a really intimate revelation. And that is the Shakti in Shiva's dance. Now, the word Shakti comes actually, one of its oldest sources is the dance text, the Natya Shastra, which is about 4,000 years old. Of course, the dance practice is much older than that. In the dance text, Shakti is used in two different contexts. One, it deals with weaponry, and in particular, it refers to the weapon which is like a spike, a weapon that you plunge or pierce with. And the other way that Shakti comes is as a moment in the unfolding of a story where there is a critical assessment. So Shakti is the grounded, martial, ferocious presence that is needed at a moment of critical assessment. It's not a mental strength. It's not the mental, analytical, strategic strength, but it is actually the dropping of the mind into the embodied strength of the body. So Shakti is related to weaponry like the sword, the spike, or the spear, but I invite you to hold the sense of weaponry quite lightly, because it isn't about taking weapons against something or even for something. If at all, it's for our presence, for our groundedness, for our flow, our intimate flow in the midst of the churning energies of our lives. So it is about holding ground for ourselves and not against anything at all. So please join me in this Shakti practice. We start as usual with dropping into our lower body, hinging in the hips, pushing the hips back, and open the feet to the ground. Drop your weight. Put your hands on your body and just drop all the thoughts and the weight into the ground. Lift and spread the chest and drop the chin down. Just release your arms. And the first weapon we're going to do is the sword. So we hold the shield and the sword. And the important thing is that the powerhouse for our energy is pulling up the energy from the earth, connecting with the weight, and really feeling the pull of the earth in our weight. And then it's the 3 lower chakras. So this is going to power us, not the upper body. We're going to be powered from the earth, from our lower body. So we step, and when you step, it's a propulsion. The whole weight propels you. So if I do it from the side, you don't leave the tailbone behind you. The weight propels you. So again. And the next weapon is the spear. So again, grounded. So again, it's the propulsion. And the last and the most important is that piercing into the earth. So we wrap our hands around the spike and we lift it up. It's weighted and again. So you don't rise up. You lift it also using the power. So let's do all of them together. And I'm going to invite you, drop the names of the weapons. The weapons are just there to get you to that particular propulsive energy, that energy that is propelling you. And just for a few seconds, feel that pulsation of that energy in you, that vitality. Allow it to come to your eyes, strengthening in the eyes, strengthening the heart. So all that energy coming up, strengthening the rest of your body. And then release. And just allow that to stay with you, that assurance of your own strength, assurance of how accessible it is to connect to that strength and ferocity which is always available for us from the earth. The earth in Indian astrology is an Ugra sign, which means ferocious. I know we think about the earth today as a victim that needs to be saved, but nothing could be further from the truth. She is very ferocious, and that ferocity is always accessible to us the minute we ground and find that martial energy in ourselves. So I do hope that in these times, if there are moments where you feel powerless or you feel lost for how to find that presence and vitality again, that this practice will help you to come back into your energy and into your vitality and open up for you even the simplest next step, because that's all we need. Just that stepping through the small steps of our daily life in the midst of all of the churning around us. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you will enjoy the Shakti practice, and I look forward to your company on this channel again.